This is CBC Winnipeg News.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. A Manitoba Grand Chief doesn't plan on stepping down, despite criticism from leaders of some of the First Nations he represents. The concern stems from an agreement the Southern Chiefs organization signed with the Manitoba Métis Federation. And this isn't the first time the Grand Chief's leadership has been called into question. CBC's Josh Crabb reports.
Controversy erupted following this agreement made last week at the Forks. Grand Chief Jerry Daniels of the Southern Chiefs Organization and Manitoba Métis Federation President David Chartrand signing a 5-year deal to work together on major infrastructure and development projects.
The issue is not with who the MOU is with. I want to make that very clear.
Peguis Chief Stan Bird is one of the latest to question the agreement. His First Nation, one of 32 represented by SCO, he wants more information on the deal because he says there was a lack of consultation. The Southeast Resource Development Council went a step further. The 8 chiefs from that organization, including Broken Head's Gordon Bluesky, are calling for a non-confidence vote of Grand Chief Daniels' leadership, saying in a statement and letter to him, "We are opposed to the continued lack of respect to our SCO chiefs and the blatant disregard to SCO constitutional procedure not being followed by our Grand Chief." Bluesky declined further comment at an unrelated event. Daniels, who was allowed to stay on as leader after apologizing for his involvement in a disturbance at an Ottawa bar in December, has no plans to step down.
Until such time that I think that I've lost the confidence of the Chiefs, I'll continue to be here.
Daniels says he had approval from SCO's executive committee to enter into the agreement. He is willing to meet with the Chiefs and vowed to discuss their concerns when they meet next month.
I think that the Chiefs will see the process that we followed that was internal.
MMF President David Chartrand says the agreement represents a big opportunity for Indigenous businesses and hasn't heard any criticism of the deal itself.
I think they know it's good for them, and it's probably a political matter that has to be dealt internally with them.
Daniels wouldn't say if there will be a non-confidence vote. He did say it may be discussed when First Nations leaders meet during a Chiefs and Summit gathering in late September. Josh Crabb, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Thieves smashed through a stained glass window of an Osborne church last night. It not only caused thousands of dollars worth of damage, but they took off with a number of religious items. CBC's Felicia Adam has more.
Every Wednesday and Sunday, Reverend Robert Scheck is in this room, getting things ready for chapel service at All Saints Anglican Church. But at the end of July, he noticed something missing.
When I came over to the cabinet, opened it, and saw that everything had been taken.
The church had been broken into. A rock was used to smash through an upstairs window, and pure silver cups, plates, trays, and chalices dating back generations were stolen.
I was heartbroken. I was angry. I was upset.
Scheck says the pieces are valued at more than $18,000, but more than that, they have sentimental and religious importance.
Every wedding, every funeral, every baptism, every service we did every week, it used these very same items, and for them to no longer be a part of our worshiping experience has been a bit upsetting.
Joy Peters is the church administrator and has been a parishioner for years.
It's heartbreaking to know that there's people in our neighborhood, right outside our doorstep who are so desperate that they would do this. They went to a lot of effort to steal them.
They're working with the Winnipeg Police Service to get the pieces back. Constable Claude Chauncey says this type of crime in and around West Broadway has gotten worse over the past 5 years, but they're putting more resources in place.
Whether it be our community support units, our foot patrols, our general patrol units that are providing a lot more attention to those areas.
Scheck says while patrols will help, it doesn't change the circumstances of people in the area.
To break into a church, to steal the silver, which really has no street value or resale value, tells me that there's great suffering in this community that pushes someone to make that kind of choice.
Major Crimes is investigating. So far, Scheck says they've gotten back one of the pieces. He's hopeful they'll soon get the others. Felicia Adam, CBC News, Winnipeg.
The province says the search and recovery of the remains of 2 First Nations women from a Winnipeg area landfill was a success in its efforts and its cost. Earlier this year, the remains of Mercedes Myron and Morgan Harris were recovered from the Prairie Green landfill. The women were victims of a convicted serial killer. A 2023 feasibility study estimated the search could take up to 3 years and cost up to $184 million. The successful search lasted a few months and cost $18 million. The Premier's office says the site still needs to be decommissioned, which could add another $2 million. Voters in Spruce Woods will be heading to the polls in under a week to elect a new MLA. Last night, those vying for the seat spent 90 minutes trying to tell voters why they are the best candidate. But as CBC's Bartley Kivas reports,
all 3 candidates in the Spruce Woods by-election gathered in this hall in the hamlet of Spruce Woods on Wednesday night for the second and final debate of the by-election. For the NDP and Progressive Conservative candidates, it wasn't an easy night. Colleen Robbins, the PC candidate in the southwestern Manitoba constituency, said she was concerned about gender education in schools because
their child is of adult age. Surgeries are not being performed in this province.
My commitment I'd like to make today is to educate myself before I speak of something that I totally don't understand, and I apologize for that tonight.
Liberal candidate Stephen Reed, a teacher, mocked the idea educators can indoctrinate students to do anything.
If we can indoctrinate your kids, they'd be wearing deodorant and showering, right?
NDP candidate Ray Berthollet, meanwhile, was unable to say what his governing party could do to improve health care in Western Manitoba.
We struggled at the beginning, but now we got a bit more of a game plan going.
Advance voting in this by-election takes place until August 25th. By-election day is August 26th. Bartley Kivas, CBC News in Spruce Woods, Manitoba.
All right, let's head to Riley Lachuk. Riley, quite a storm last night.
Yeah, I'm going to start with some video, Brittany. This is taken by Bartley on that way back from that debate last night in Spruce Woods on Highway 1 near Oakville. His videographer, Warren Kay, was driving at the time. This was late in the evening, and he described it as driving through a car wash for almost 2 hours. That's how heavy the rain was in parts of southern Manitoba. Certainly you may have waken up to some rumbles of thunder here in Winnipeg overnight. Here's a look at how that looked on radar, and you can see this is what's called training, just storms forming over and over and over again over the course of the overnight hours last night over the same area, tracking eastward. So that's how we got into some of those torrential downpours last night. And what this translated to was an area where we saw 101 millimeters of rain overnight in Portage La Prairie, some readings up to almost 120 millimeters just outside the city. There was a reading in Winnipeg and Charleswood of 138 millimeters overnight, 83 in Westwood, and just around 20 downtown and toward the Forks. So in some cases, these numbers are about 2 months worth of rain in just one evening. So that gives you a sense at how powerful some of these storms were, causing some flooding. Certainly not what we needed when it comes to the amount of rain this late in the growing season for farmers. So certainly this also came with some hail in parts of the province as well, Brittany, up to the size of golf balls in some cases, and certainly quite the light show as well.
All right, thanks, Riley.
Welcome.
Well, it's a momentous occasion more than 3 decades in the making. The city of Steinbach is celebrating its state-of-the-art event center. CBC's Rosanna Hempel has more.
Steinbach hopes this becomes a hub for community and connection.
I'm so excited, elated. It's just amazing.
After decades of planning, the Southeast Event Center in downtown Steinbach opened its doors Thursday. It's the new home of the Steinbach Pistons hockey team. Organizers say the facility is also for concerts, trade shows, and the community. Besides an arena, it boasts a gym and an indoor playground and track.
There's a lot of great sports stars that have come out of Steinbach, but I think this will generate even more. Right? Because now there's a facility that will attract that talent.
Planning for the center began 33 years ago when the city bought the land from Ralph Kruger's family. It's the property where Kruger grew up before launching his career in professional hockey.
It was a little emotional for me actually to start thinking about it when I was up there telling the story about, my parents doing what they did and spending so much time here. But this is a beautiful, beautiful complex that's come out of it.
The facility cost $75 million. About $50 million came from the city, feds, and province. Mayor Earl Funk says the rest were business and private donations.
That speaks volumes to the kind of community that we have, and how they're vested in our community.
In turn, he hopes it's a place athletes, musicians, and the community can grow. Rosanna Hempel, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Many athletes in Manitoba were sidelined by a smoky summer, and there's concern those canceled practices and games could become a trend. More on that straight ahead. Searchers have recovered gear belonging to a missing Norwegian trekker in northern Manitoba. Stefan Schottlevik's backpack has been found near a fast-moving river in a remote coastal area. It's near where crews have focused search efforts in recent days and where GPS coordinates last placed the missing 29-year-old. The family says they, including supporters, are working to raise awareness and funds to bolster the search efforts.
Family was just informed about this backpack being found, and the consequence is that the search and rescue will be increased in numbers and effort, and that the family will keep on working to fundraise more boats and helicopters and more crew on the ground.
Schottlevic was last heard from a week ago. A volunteer group from Ontario has been leading the search, but were forced to pull out due to rising helicopter costs. Well, it's been a frustrating summer for young soccer players, coaches, and parents in our province. Many recreational sports organizations have had to cancel practices and games because of wildfire smoke. Now they're just hoping this doesn't become a trend. With more, here's CBC's Justin Fiacconi.
It's been a summer of disruptions, postponements, and cancellations for many youth soccer teams in Manitoba. These young players haven't had much time to practice because of poor air quality from the wildfire smoke. They say it's impacting their play on the field.
I don't know, I've noticed that I can't run as fast since we haven't been at practice in a long time.
The team even had 1 week where all practices and games were canceled because of the poor air quality. Barely having a kick at playing has been hard on the young athletes.
Well, it's really disappointing because normally we have like a fun time. Even if we lose, we have a fun time like playing with each other.
One of the coaches of the team is Joan Maxis. He says it's been so bad that they've had to pause midway through a game to ask their players if they were okay to continue.
We asked them at that point, please let us know if you're not feeling comfortable, whether that be a itchy throats, or if you're coughing, or if you're having difficulty breathing. Personally, I do have asthma in my team as well, so that's certainly something that caught my attention.
The poor conditions this summer have been making it difficult for organizers as well. Hector Vergara is the executive director of the Manitoba Soccer Association. It's the umbrella organization for over 900 youth soccer teams and over 25,000 registered players.
The reality is that there's a safety issue with the weather conditions that we had with the wildfires, that obviously the air quality isn't at the level that we need it to be in order for us to play in a safe manner. So there's been a lot of cancellations.
Janet McMahon is the president and CEO of Sport Manitoba. She's concerned that disruptive wildfire seasons could hurt certain sports.
A lot of these sports are not conducive to moving indoors, so you could see people choosing other sports and making different decisions based on inconsistencies and just not knowing. So, it could have an impact on participation rates in the future.
As of right now, McMahon says there hasn't been much discussion with government about the future impact of wildfires on sport. Though wildfire seasons like this one do underscore the growing need for more investment in sporting infrastructure. Justin Fiacconi, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Riley's back in now, and boy, oh boy, was it quite a light show last night with the storm. I'm sure a lot of cats and dogs and probably other pets that were pretty scared last night.
Yeah, very loud. I know I woke up a couple of times last night from some of that thunder that rolled through. So, certainly punishing in parts of the south last night. The north getting some much needed rain. I know we really don't need the rain this time of the year in the south because all of the producers are trying to get their harvest in, but we still have wildfires, of course, that are burning in northern Manitoba. So this is welcome precipitation for a good chunk in northern Manitoba, where we do have this rainfall warning that's in place, stretching all the way from Shamattawa through Thompson, all the way through Lynn Lake. It's been now dropped for Flin Flon, but locally could see up to 70 millimeters of rain, although I wouldn't doubt that in some cases we do see some pockets where we even see some higher accumulation as we see the potential for some thunderstorms even in there as well. So as that Thunderstorm activity cleared out as we got through the day today. Still a few rumbles of thunder into northwestern Ontario throughout the day. Some clearing in behind that. That helped elevate temperatures up to 25 in Winnipeg. I did see some 26s and 27s on the board earlier in the day through parts of southwestern Manitoba. And you can start to see where this low is circulating over northern Manitoba as this frontal boundary and this low continue to push its way eastward into Manitoba. We get another round of rain through parts of central Manitoba and again in the north as we get through the day on Friday. So another soggy one for northern Manitoba. And as we see a bit of troughing here, we do have the potential as we get later in the afternoon Friday into the early morning on Saturday of seeing some isolated showers through south and central Manitoba. I think anywhere east of Portage la Prairie has the potential as we get particularly through the late afternoon, but even dragging into Saturday out of some of this cloud cover, the potential there for a few scattered showers yet to come before high pressure starts to push in and clear us out and also cool us down once again as we get into the day on Saturday and particularly into Sunday with some cooler temperatures. So rainfall to come. Keep in mind, this is on top of what's already fallen in parts of northern Manitoba, looking at another 15 to 30 millimeters, potentially for parts of northern Manitoba through Lynn Lake. Thompson looking at, I think this is a little low for Thompson, but we are looking at rain continuing the further east you go in northern Manitoba with a pretty sporadic rainfall through the south by the time we get to the morning hours on Saturday. What you will notice, though, is an increase in the wind, particularly as we get through the day into Friday, looking at winds picking up, gusting up to 50 for parts of southern Manitoba, but along the Hudson Bay coast, as this low pushes eastward, we are looking at winds really picking up with the potential to see some gusts in Churchill, for example, up to 60 or 70 kilometers an hour through the day Friday by the time we get into the day on Saturday. So a pretty mixed bag of weather coming through parts of the province, and we're looking at temperatures, Brittany, much cooler, 20 in Winnipeg and teens into western Manitoba.
Thanks, Riley.
You're welcome.
Well, the National Pickleball Championship is being held in Manitoba for the very first time this year. It comes at a time when the sport is seeing a lot of growth in our province. CBC's Zabina Ahmed has more.
An ace, a serve, or a back and forth hit. Over 700 picklers are competing at the 2025 National Pickleball Championships.
Is the team doing well?
Ted Fardo says over 32 indoor courts are in play at the Taylor Tennis Centre.
Today we are running our provincial team championship, where we have 6 provinces entered. We have Manitoba, Saskatchewan, Alberta, BC, Ontario, and Quebec.
Fardo says over the last couple of years, nearly 1,000 people have joined the sport in the province. He hopes to see pickleball in the Olympics as an official sport, with popularity growing around the world.
And I think next time it comes to North America, I wouldn't be surprised if it was up as a demonstration sport. It's definitely growing that fast. The professional leagues are unbelievable. The athletes are unbelievable.
The Lacab brothers, representing Team Manitoba, say hosting nationals is a great way to grow the sport in the province.
It feels amazing. It feels a big privilege to be part of Team Manitoba, especially. You don't get a lot of spots in terms of selection for the province, to represent the province. We're one of a few, and so we're very happy, very, very happy to be playing.
Pickleball is like the biggest craze in the world right now, so we're taking advantage of it for sure.
50-year-old Brenda Holrook, representing Alberta, says the sport is amazing for all ages.
The sport is amazing. Kids are starting at, is it 4 or 5 years of age, and, as we age, we can play it as well. As we're finding out with any kind of sport, that it's good for your soul, it's good for you mentally and physically.
Over 350 Manitobans are competing in the championships, which runs until Sunday. Zabina Ahmed, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Crews gain the upper hand on a number of wildfires as international help gets ready to head home. More on that straight ahead. Fire risk around the province is now low, and Manitoba's state of emergency is set to expire tomorrow. The mandatory evacuation order for Snow Lake will be lifted at 8 a.m. Friday morning. The province says fires near Lynn Lake, Leaf Rapids, and Pimicikamak that were previously out of control are now in the being held status. While the evacuation center at the convention center is now closed, the reception center at the Holiday Inn in Winnipeg remains open. Meantime, international crews are heading back home after Saskatchewan's most serious wildfires have been contained. 100 firefighters from Australia traveled more than 13,000 kilometers last month to join local crews on the front lines. An additional 245 firefighters from Mexico were deployed across both Saskatchewan and Manitoba. The firefighters spent more than 40 days working long stretches of 12-hour shifts, sleeping in tents in between battling the flames. They say it was more than rewarding.
All right, time for your dog walking forecast, and much sunnier, I think, if you're a morning dog walker as we head into your Friday. This is Larry. Thank you, Gordo and Kathy, for sending this absolutely cute picture of your pup, and now you can send yours. I've been getting lots of them, but keep them coming, please, to talk back at cbc.ca. So sunshine first thing in the morning. We'll get some cloud back as we get into the afternoon hours across the south. Maybe a few isolated showers into the afternoon, and looking at that cloud cover sticking around into Saturday morning. So maybe an odd isolated shower even into Saturday at 18 degrees. Cooler into Sunday evening, even at 17, but you'll notice the winds as we get through the weekend. Northwest gusting to 50 on Saturday, up to 40 on Sunday, and we'll see temperatures rebounding toward the middle of next week. Well, there is nothing like hitting the water on a hot summer day.
One of the biggest sailing events in the world is unfurling in Amsterdam this week. It's your Daily Lift. The 5-day festival is expected to draw more than 2 million visitors to the Dutch capital. Several historic ships could be seen jostling for space, with thousands of boats in the crowded waters.
The maritime event hosts vessels from all over the world. This year's gathering coincides with Amsterdam's 750th anniversary. Plenty of wind if you're planning to go for a sail on, say, Lake Winnipeg or something like that, because we're looking at some windy days ahead.
All right. Well, stay safe if you do head out there.
Exactly.
Have a great night. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Have a good one.
I like his little book.